All right, so you guys are ready to move on to Standard 6. Standard 5 is now, was actually due yesterday. So if you haven't completed Standard 5 yet, you need to get that done so I can get a grade on Infinite Campus for you. Otherwise, you'll sit at a 0 until it's complete. When we're looking at Standard 6, you'll notice that there's a lot less stuff to do. Standard 7 is similar. So you've got 3 rows here, and you have to choose at least one thing from each row. Obviously, if you do more, your grade rises. Row 1, we're looking at either the Mendel Web Quest or the Greatest Discoveries in Genetics. I'll be going over the Greatest Discoveries in Genetics in a little bit more detail in just a bit. The Mendel Web Quest is pretty self-explanatory. You click on the links that are provided, answer the questions. It's a pretty simple web quest. Row 2, we're looking at 2 different labs here. The Genetics Virtual Lab, you are making an animal based on the alleles that you select from the Punnett squares that you make. And those words will make more sense as you work through either the web quest or you do the reading for the Genetics Virtual Lab. You will have another screencast talking about the lab specifically on another day. Similar to the Genetic Stations lab, I've got to decide how I'm going to do that lab yet. I haven't decided if that's something that we're going to be able to do live or if it's something that I need to come up with an alternative version for. But the Genetic Stations lab is definitely not something that you can do just simply on your own. I have supplies that you need for it. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at the Stations lab. Here for row 3, we're looking specifically at pedigrees. And again, I will have another screencast where I talk about these specifically. But you're certainly able to take a look at them early if you want to. They're very similar, especially the first half of it, but the Harry Potter pedigree it is something that takes a little bit more time. You're going through more questions. But it might be easier than the Create Your Own. The Create Your Own, you've got to follow your own bloodline, your own family tree through a particular trait, and you have to have at least 10 members that you're going to follow that trait through. Again, I'll go over each of those more specifically when the time comes, but that is your Standard 6 overview, and I will be going into greater detail with a few of these in a while.